Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Dear friends, as you know that this is fourth episode of the series, which is Finality of the prophethood. We discussed difference between muhaddas and prophet, and proved from the Quran and Hadith and the writings of the Imam of the age that he was a muhaddas and not a Nabi. We discussed that after proclaiming the death of the Jesus Christ and his own appointment as the promised Messiah by the Imam of the age, it shocked and upset the ulama. So he spent his lifetime denying the charges. Now, as we can see, the first and the foremost dispute between Ahmadiyyas and the rest of the Muslims is the death of Jesus. The average Muslims believe that Jesus is alive in heaven with his physical body. But the members of the Ahmadiyya Jamaat and also the Muslim researchers, scholars believe that like other prophets, Jesus too has died. So today we will try to find out the evidences of the death of the Jesus from Holy Quran and Hadith. As this is a very vast topic, we will divide this into several episodes. So let's start with the evidences of the Quran. The Holy Quran emphatically proves that Jesus has passed away like other mortal human beings and is no longer alive anywhere. It clearly states that Jesus possessed only human characteristics and was in no way divine but a servant of Allah and his messenger. From birth to death, he was subject to all the physical and biological limitations that God has devised for human beings. Let's see the first evidence, that is all human beings live and die in this world. Prophets belong to human race and they are therefore subjected to the eternal divine law that human beings live and die in this world. The Quran states, number 1, therein, that is on the earth or physical world, shall you live, and therein shall you die, and therefrom shall you be raised. Chapter 7 verse number 25. Number 2, and there is for you in the earth an abode and provision. Chapter 7 verse number 24. Number 3, have we not made the earth draw to itself the living and the dead? Chapter 77 verse number 25 and 26. Number 4, from it, that is the earth, we created you, and into it we shall return you, and from it raise you a second time. Chapter 20 verse number 55. In these verses, God has set forth his law that all men shall lead their lives with their physical body in earth. Furthermore, it is opposed to the divine law according to which prophets have to bear persecution here on the earth, that Jesus should be raised to the heaven when he was opposed by Jews. He supposed physical life in heaven for 2000 years without food and drink is also opposed to divine law, expressed in the above verses. Second evidence, physical life depends on food and drink. God has described his law applicable not only to the ordinary people but to all the prophets as well, that life depends on food and drink, as Holy Quran states. Number 1, we did not send before you, O Muhammad, any messenger, but they surely ate food. Chapter 25 verse number 20. Number 2, we did not give them, that is the prophets, bodies not eating food. Chapter 21 verse number 8. And again, of Jesus and his righteous mother, it is stated, they both used to eat food. Chapter 5 verse number 7. So, if Jesus no longer eats food, as all the Muslims hold that, he does not eat food in heaven. He cannot, by the divine law stated above, be alive with his physical body. The body requires food. So Jesus no longer eating food must be that, let's see, third evidence, human body suffers ravages of time. There is not a single human body in this world which is impervious to change. The living body is necessarily changing all the time. The Quran states, number 1, and we granted abiding forever, that is khuld, to no mortal before you, O Muhammad. If you die, will they abide? That is khuld. Chapter 21, verse number 34. Second, they, that is the prophets, did not abide forever. That is khalideen. Chapter 21, verse number 8. As regards the meaning of the word khuld, translated above as abiding forever, the famous Quranic dictionary of Imam Raghib explains, khuld is a thing be immune from decay, and it endures in an unchanging condition. Arab call such a thing khuld, that is to persist in one condition, not being subject to change. Page number 153, 154. According to Arabic lexicology, therefore, khuld signifies persistence in one and the same state, with no change or decay taking place. Now, in the verse above, a divine law has been explained under which every person is affected by the passage of time. He is first a child, then an adult, then old, and finally he dies. This is corroborated by the many other verses. For example, number 1, Allah is He who created you from the state of weakness, then gave you the strength after weakness, then ordained weakness and hoary hair after strength. And the reference is chapter 30, verse number 54. Number 2, of you is He who is brought back to the first part of the life, that is old age, so that after knowledge he knows nothing. And the reference is chapter 22, verse number 5. Number 3, and whomsoever we cause to live long, we reduce to an abject state in creation. Do they not understand? Chapter 36, verse number 68. A general law of God has been described here, to which no human being is an exception. From being a child, a person develops physically and attains his fullest development. After that, he begins to decline and ultimately reaches his second childhood when he loses all his former attainments. If, for the sake of the argument, Jesus were to return to this world, he would be about 2000 years of age, and hence, according to the above divine law, too old to be capable of doing anything at all. In fact, it is certain that under this law, Jesus died a very long time ago. Let's see the fourth evidence. Death of all the prophets. The Holy Quran states, number 1, the Masih, son of Mary, was only a messenger. Messengers before him had indeed passed away. Chapter 5 and verse number 75. Number 2, and Muhammad is but a messenger. Messengers have already passed away before him. If then he dies or is killed, will you turn back upon your heels? And the reference is chapter 3, verse number 143. The second verse here explains the first one. Both verses are similarly worded. The first verse referring to the Jesus, and the second to the Holy Prophet Muhammad, may peace and blessings of Allah be upon him. The Quran's verdict here is very clear for a truth seeker. The first verse explicitly states that all the prophets before Jesus had died, and all the Muslims accept this. In the second verse, the same words are used to state that all the prophets before the Holy Prophet Muhammad, may peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, died. In fact, since no prophet between Jesus and the Holy Prophet Muhammad, the second verse could only have been revealed specifically to show that Jesus had died. Classical work of Arabic grammar tells us that owing to the prefix al, the word messenger or rasul, the messengers in the above two verses really means all messengers. For reference, see Bahr al-Muhit, volume 3, page number 68. Now let's see the meaning of khala. It should be remembered that word khala, translated above as passed away, in the past tense without an article when used about human beings refers to their death. For reference, see Lisan al-Arab. In the Quran too, whenever the word kad khalat without the particle illa are used about any person, the meaning is that they passed away and died and will not return to this world. For instance, the Holy Quran states, number 1, those are people that have passed away, kad khalat, and the reference is chapter 2 verse number 134. Again, number 2, before which other nations have passed away, kad khalat, the reference is chapter 13 verse number 30. Again, among nations that have passed away before them, kad khalat, chapter 46 verse number 18. Quote, such has been the way of the Allah with those who have passed away before, khalat, chapter 33 verse number 38. In interpreting the two verses about all prophets before Jesus and the Holy Prophet Muhammad having passed away, the commentators have generally adopted the same meaning. The Holy Prophet would leave the world as have done by previous prophets, by natural death or murder. The reference is Kanvata by Davi, volume number 3, page number 124. In fact, the above verse about the Holy Prophet Muhammad, may peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, that is chapter 3 verse number 143 of the Holy Quran, itself clears that the meaning of the khala is passing away of all previous prophets by using the word if he dies or is killed with regards to him. Itself clarifies the meaning of khala, passing away of all previous prophets by using the words if he dies or is killed with regards to him. Obviously, the passing away of all the previous prophets must also be of dying or being killed. Now, let's see the fifth evidence. That is, all gods are dead. All those who were taken to be God besides the one God are described by the Holy Quran as dead. As the Quran states, and those they call on besides Allah created nothing while they are themselves created. Dead are they, not living, and they know not when they will be raised. Chapter 16 verse number 20 and 21. And as to the Jesus being taken for a God, the Quran itself bears witness. Certainly, they disbelieve who say Allah, He is the Masih, the son of the Mary. Chapter 5 verse number 72. These verses prove conclusively that Jesus, who is taken to be God by the large section of mankind and is called by them Lord Jesus, must have been dead when these verses were revealed. Otherwise, this exception would have been mentioned here. Moreover, after Amwat, dead are they. The word Ghairul Ahyayu, not living, clarifies the matter absolutely and reaffirm the death of these gods. Let's see the sixth evidence. Jesus' second coming contradicts the finality of the prophethood. It's the most important. Jesus coming again into this world would infringe the principle of the finality of the prophethood. Because the Holy Prophet Muhammad, may peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, is the last and final according to the principle. The Quran says, Muhammad is not the father of any of your men, but he is the messenger of God and the last of the prophets. Chapter 33 verse number 40. The Holy Prophet being the last prophet, Khatamun Nabeen, necessitates that after him there should not appear any prophet, neither a new one nor a former one. Just as the coming of a new fresh prophet would infringe the finality of the prophethood, so would the appearance of the former prophet, because the last prophet is the one who appears after all other prophets. If Jesus comes after the Holy Prophet, he, Jesus, would be the last prophet, the Khatamun Nabeen. It is wrong to argue that in his supposed second coming, Jesus would not be prophet, Nabi. As Quran says, Jesus said, I am servant of God. He has given me book and made me a prophet and made me blessed wherever I may be. Chapter 19, verse number 30 and 31. So, were he to return to this world, he would still be a prophet as per the above verse. Moreover, his coming without prophethood would be meaningless. And for the task of the leadership of the Muslim Ummah and successorship to the Holy Prophet Muhammad, that is Khalifa, could be performed by a member of the Muslim community. Hence, it stands proved that Jesus died as did all other prophets, and that the Holy Prophet Muhammad, may peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, is the last and the final prophet. Seventh evidence. The Holy Quran specifically mentioned Jesus' death. Having explained so many general principles on the subject of life and death, it was not necessary that the Holy Quran should speak specifically of the death of Jesus. Nevertheless, Almighty Allah has particularly mentioned the death of Jesus in the Holy Quran. When the Jews succeeded in their plans to have Jesus sentenced to crucifixion, he prayed to Allah to be delivered from this fate and was answered by Allah. Thus, O Jesus, I will cause you to die and exalt you to my presence and clear you of those who disbelieve and make those who follow you above those who disbelieve till the day of judgment. Chapter 3, verse number 54. Here God made 4 promises with Jesus. First, cause you to die, tawaffa. Jesus would not be killed by the Jews but would die a natural death. Second, exalt you in my presence, rafa. That is, he would not be crucified, which the Jews sought to do to prove him accursed, but rather he would receive divine nearness. Third, clear you of those who disbelieve. That is, he would be cleared of the allegations of the Jews against him, as was done by the Holy Prophet Muhammad, may peace and blessings of Allah be upon him. Fourth, make those who follow you above those who disbelieve till the day of the judgment. His followers would ever have the upper hand over his rejectors. The above verse proves that Jesus had died for Rafa. The exaltation to the God's presence is attained only after death. When all the material veils have been removed, every righteous person is granted Rafa to God after his death. The Holy Prophet has said, when a believer is near to death, angels come to him. So, if he is righteous, they say, O pure soul, leave, you are in a pure body. So, that pure soul comes out. Then they take it to the heavens, and the gate of the heaven are opened for it. And the reference is Mishkat. Hence, whenever a righteous individual dies, the angel takes his soul up to the heaven. And the very same happened in case of the Jesus, as that after his death, his soul was taken to the heaven, and he joined the ranks of the righteous among the dead. Thus, God fulfilled all 4 promises in order. He rescued Jesus from the hands of the Jews and eventually granted him a natural death. After his death, Allah honored his soul with divine nearness. He cleared him of all the allegations made by Jews against him through the Holy Prophet Muhammad, may peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, and he gave followers of the Jesus the upper hand over his rejectors. 8th evidence. Christian went astray after the death of Jesus. Statement of Jesus on the day of the judgment that his people made him a god after his death is thus recorded in the Holy Quran. And when God will say, O Jesus, did you say to men, take me and my mother for 2 gods beside God? He will reply, glory be to thee. It was not for me to say what I had not right to say. If I had said it, thou wouldst indeed have known it. Thou knowest what is in my mind, and I know not what is in thy mind. Surely thou art the great knower of the unseen. I said to them, not so, as thou didst command me. Serve God, my Lord and your Lord. And I was witness of them so long as I was among them. But when thou didst cause me to die, thou wert the watcher over them. And thou art witness of all things. Chapter number 5, verse number 16 and verse number 17. This extract proves the following. Jesus shall deny preaching the erroneous present day Christian doctrines of his divinity. Second, he shall confirm the teachings he actually gave to his peoples. Third, so long as Jesus was among his people, his followers had the correct beliefs. And fourth, it was after the death of the Jesus, Tawfa, translated above as thou didst cause me to die, that their beliefs became corrupted. Now let's see meaning of Tawfa. Lexicon of Arabic tells us that Tawfa, Allah who falad min, that God took his soul and caused him to die. This is the meaning given in Tajul Uruz and Asasul Balaga and Al-Siya and Kaliyate Abi Baka. In the above verses, Jesus speaks of two distinct periods of time. The first one is mentioned in the word, so long as I was among them. And the second one is when thou wert the watcher over them. Them being people of Jesus, the Christians, and the first period was of the presence of Jesus among his people. That changes into the second of only God, not Jesus, being their watcher. Because of Faitani, or when thou didst cause me, Jesus, to die. Now, according to the above verse, the Christians had correct beliefs in the first period and distorted view in the second period. As the Quran tells us repeatedly, and as all the Muslims believe, Christians' beliefs had become corrupted, or in other words, the second period had begun by the time of the advent of the Holy Prophet Muhammad. May peace and blessings of Allah be upon him. So Jesus was dead by that time. Since the second period was to come after Tawafaitani, or the death of Jesus. So it is proved that Jesus was dead at that time. Let's give a short summary of all these evidences. According to the Holy Quran, Jesus hold no more than following three positions. He was a mortal amongst the mortals. Second, he was a prophet of God from amongst the prophets, and he is of those whom some people worshipped. The Jews believed him to be an ordinary mortal, while Christians worshipped him. The Muslims accept him as one of the prophets of the God. The Quran has proved Jesus to be dead with regards of each of the above three positions. Number one, Jesus as an ordinary mortal. The Quran states, we have not made before you, O Muhammad, any mortal to abide forever. If you die, will they, the opponents, abide? Chapter 21, verse number 34. The body is never immune to the change, and that it must live and die here in this world. As Jesus too was human, he must be subject to all the laws God has devised for man. Therefore, under the Quranic law, every soul must taste of death. Hence, he is dead. Second, Jesus as a prophet, as Quran states, and Muhammad is only a messenger. All messengers before him have indeed passed away. Chapter 3, verse number 143. This verse proves that the death of all the previous messengers by the time of its revelation, Jesus was thus dead by that time. Number 3, Jesus as a supposed deity. As regards all those who were taken for gods besides Allah, the Quran tells us they are dead, not living, and they do not know when they will be raised. Chapter 16, verse number 21. It is universally known and confirmed by the Holy Quran that Christians believe Jesus to be divine and call him in their prayer. So according to the above verses, Jesus is dead and will not answer them till the day of the judgment. Hence it is fully and conclusively proved that Jesus died long ago, and the belief in his continued life is against the clearest teachings of the Holy Quran. I think it is enough for today. In the next episode we will discuss evidences from Hadith. And if you have not subscribed my channel yet, please subscribe it and press the notification icon to get updates from this channel. Wassalam wa akhiru dawana anil hamdulillahi rabbil alameen.